Desi, finally back at it again with the short hair tutorial. So yeah, if you guys have watched my last video or you follow me on Instagram, you've been noticing that I've been rocking this very, very cute short look lately, and ever so politely you guys are like, yeah, that's great. When are you going to upload this video, darling? And so finally I refilmed it, and here it is. This is a style that I've been doing for years now. I actually created this tutorial maybe 6 years ago, but I could not remember how I did this hairstyle, but now I remember through a happy accident, and here we are, darling. So as you can see, my hair is already prepped and ready to go. You can pause the video now to take a look at the link that I'm going to leave you in the description bar, showing you how I prep my hair for Quickweave. The only difference between that video and now is I actually braid my hair back. But for this style, it's actually better if you braid your hair forward. You can use the extra volume from your braids in the front, but since I'm braiding my hair myself, I can't do that, so I just braided my hair back and then twisted my braids up forward. So if you're a newer subscriber, I basically prep my hair with a bonding solution. It protects my hair from the glue. I normally use Robert Diamond protective serum on my hair, but you can use any protective serum that you have at home or any one that you want to. So in the layout for the tracks in this style, I'm not doing anything really, different. I'm just laying all my tracks horizontally, leaving about 1/4 of an inch spacing between them all. I'm gluing them close together, but not too close. I don't want that much bulk in my hair, but I do want them to lay very close together so the tracks don't show on the sides, as well as I just want a really full and healthy looking style. So when you're laying your tracks out, you really want to be careful to line them up precisely at the edge of where your solution ends, so that part will stay straight, so there's no tracks or any glue or anything sticking out, because we want this to look as natural as possible. Once you're done, once it's cut and styled, nobody will be able to tell that this isn't your hair, and that's exactly what we want. So I pretty much am just laying my tracks horizontally until I get to the back, and that's when I start to curve my tracks a little bit. And when doing this style, you definitely want to take your time. Sometimes you're not going to get the placement exactly right, so while it's still wet, you just lift it up and adjust it, and you're good to go. That's the good thing about these Quickweaves. If you get it wrong, you can always adjust it and fix it. Now I know some of you are looking at the side of my head like, oh my god, is she still natural? Yes, I'm still natural. Sometimes when I do these shorter styles, I like to grow my sides out and relax them a little bit, just to make the cut look even more natural. And then when I get bored with it, and where I don't feel like constantly molding the hair down, I just shave it off and I'm good to go. But yes, I'm still fully natural, so don't be scared. So as you lay your tracks closer to the back, closer to your ending point where you put your closure at, you're going to kind of twist the ends of your hair inward, so the ends of your hair kind of curve in like a semicircle. This is important because when you put your closure on, your closure is really only going to cover a small amount of your tracks on the side. So the tracks on the side, you really want them to curve inward, so the hair naturally overlays on top of it, so you won't see the edge of your track. That's pretty much why we do this, because we don't want those edges, we don't want those little pieces of track to stick out underneath your closure. And when you do it like this, this will allow your closure to be as seamless and as flawless as possible. And this is why it took me so long to do this tutorial, because I could not remember how I closed off my closure. When I first created it, it was, a really haphazard job, and this was 6 years ago. But I was actually doing a tutorial for a mohawk, and the mohawk was a big freaking fail, but I did you know, I figured out finally how to do the closure for this so it looks completely natural, as I needed to salvage that mohawk tutorial because I actually had to go to work the next day, so I couldn't take it out and do it all over again. So I took out the back pieces and I made a closure to put on top. I was like, yes, finally. So back to the video. So you just want to keep curving those tracks inward as you lay them down, and then you can get started on your closure. Now, depending on how much space you leave yourself for your closure, you're going to cut off about a 3 to 4 inch piece of hair. You know, you put your glue on there and you let it get a little bit tacky before you roll it. Once it's tacky, you want to really be careful on how you roll your hair. You don't want to roll it haphazardly. You need to take your time on this because you're going to kind of flatten it out a little bit. So when you're first wrapping it, you need those tracks to be very still. You don't want them slipping and sliding anywhere, because once you flatten out your closure, any tracks that have slipped or slid while you were rolling it, they'll be seen when you flatten it out, and sometimes glue will kind of seep out, so we don't want that to happen. So when you do it this way, your closure is cleaner and will stay flatter for longer. So after you roll it up, you want to divide the hair down the middle and form it into a semicircle. Now this flat part is going to lay at the base of your part. This is going to be obviously the back piece. So while the glue is still tacky, you want to kind of shape it out and kind of flatten it out, get the process started, and then you go back in with your flat iron and you start to flatten out the edges. This is going to rewarm that glue and make the glue slightly tacky again, so you can really flatten it out and really shape it to what you need it to be. Now this will take a few minutes to get the closure exactly perfect. This is something that I suggest that you don't rush on. For me, it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to really get my closure the way that I needed it to be. So you're just going to take your time and flatten out the edges, and it's going to be hot, so please be careful. And you just, while the glue is still warm and tacky, you're going to really shape it with your hands also and really flatten it out. And if it starts to cool off, all you have to do is just hit the closure again with your flat iron and you shape it out again. Once you get it to as flat as you need it, you'll see that that edge of the closure, it kind of has 2 humps on it. It looks like a heart. And like I said, this is going to be our back piece that needs to be as flat as possible to lay flush against the part. So sometimes you're going to have to take a few pieces of hair out. It's usually like 2 strips or so to really make it look flat. So we don't want any humps. We don't want any major humps anyway. So any short pieces that stick up, you want to stick those down also. So after you get those pieces stuck down and it's flat enough to your liking, you just go in with your scissors and clean up that closure. We don't want any pieces sticking out, just because this is going to be shown, this is going to be in the back of your hair. We need it to look as natural and as flat and clean as possible. We don't want any hair sticking out. And then to seal those hairs in the back, all you have to do is just finish it up one more time with the flat iron and press it out and give it one good press and squeeze, and you're done, and your closure looks nice and neat. When you put it on, nobody will be able to tell that you have a closure in. There's no glue or anything. And once your closure is made, you let it cool off for a little bit. All you have to do is just place it at the base of the base of your hair, and you press really hard to get that closure to lie as flat as possible. And if you did your closure and you took your time, it should already lay flat. So this shouldn't be too much work for you. So after you're done, it lays completely flat. It doesn't look like it's humped up, and voila, that is the short hair quick weave. So once your closure is dry and set, now it is time to do some cutting. I wanted a nice textured choppy look. I didn't want it to be too short like a pixie cut, but I didn't want it to be too long either. And the good thing about this Quickweave is you can wear it in any direction. You don't have to have it on one side. You can even wear it in like a mohawk if you want to. Now for me, I did a combination of razor cutting and doing some point cutting in my hair to really get the textured look that I was going for. I don't have a layering technique or method that I use. I pretty much cut where I see it and just go at it and have at it until it looks as fierce as I want it to be. So how you cut your hair is up to you. I love the way that the cut came out. It's so effortlessly chic. Like some days I don't even have to curl my hair. I just zhuzh it up a little bit and just let the layers just do what they do. But if I'm going to work, sometimes I want a nice polished look, so I'll bump the ends a little bit just to give the hair a slight curl and make those layers pop just a little bit more. And can I just tell you how much I love this flat iron? This is the Irresistible Me flat iron that I showed you guys a while back. I just love this flat iron, especially for shortcuts, because it just makes the hair so nice and shiny. I don't have to put any type of oil sheen or anything in there, and it just gives me the silkiest looking press ever. It makes my life so much easier in the morning. So after you bump it up, you zhuzh it up, and you are good to go. Looking fierce, darling. Looking amazing. I love this haircut so much, and I feel like this is going to be a style that I'll be rocking a lot this summer. Now this last step is totally optional. You can finish off your style with a little bit of spritz or a little bit of hairspray if you want to keep it in place all day long, but it's, like I said, it's definitely optional and up to you, and you are all set to go out in these streets and be fierce and be fabulous and just slay, snatch edges. Listen, darling. Looking fierce. So yeah guys, this is the tutorial. I hope that you love it. As always, if you like it, definitely thumbs up the video and share and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.